today I am here with part 3 of our basic hand lettering hacks video series. And in the first one, we talked about some supplies and talked about thickening the downstroke and getting comfortable with your own handwriting. In part 2, we made creating a post, filling it in, talking about adding serifs to it, and different ways that you can do some fill inside of the post that you create that creates these fonts. And so if you are interested in either one of these, go back to, I'll have a playlist on my channel. You can go back to those and see those videos and catch up to where we are today. Today we are going to talk about a few ways to change your, just make some simple changes to your lettering or your own writing, again, to make an impact and make something look cool. We're going to change the center and we're going to add some interest. So today, again, I am just using, I have my Pigma Micron and my Sharpie that has a regular tip on this end and a fine nib on this end. I also always will have my pencil out because that is something that I use on and off. I've got some other markers and things over here, and I've got some colored fountain pens that I use quite a bit as well. If you're interested in all of the different types of supplies and things that I went over, all these other things, look in my first video in this series and I go through all of those things. But let's talk about changing the center. So on this one, you will see I am just doing capital letter block printing. So if you know how to just write all capitals in printing, you know, not cursive, just printing, we're going to talk about how changing the center totally changes the way lettering looks and adds some cool, unique interest, you know. So this one I've done, my center is like way up here. This one, my center is right in the middle. And this one, my center is down low. So right, you can see where my little plus marks are. There is where I've changed the center to. So I'm going to take out my big Sharpie here, so because we can see best in this one. And the nice thing about this paper that I've printed out, which if you want, I have the link in the description box. You can go there. Don't mess with any of the little numbers and anything. Just go right to the bottom of the list and say get paper, and this is what you'll get. So the nice thing is there's a line, there's 3 lines in the graph, right? There's this middle top one here and there's a bottom one there. So you kind of, it can give you already a visual way to do this. So let's just start with the alphabet. Normally I would write my A, and that would be my, you know, you're taught to kind of put the crossbar or center everything on a middle line, right? Because typically your, let me get a piece here. Typically when you're in school or something, you get a piece of paper that looks like this when you're learning to write. So that middle line is where they're saying, okay, when you make an A, go across here. And when you make a small a, keep it underneath that line, right? So that's what I'm doing here visually. Now I'm gonna change the center on my A and put the crossbar way up here on the top line. And it totally changes the way that A looks. I can do the same thing and put that A crossbar way down low, and that will change the way it looks as well. We can do the same thing with B. So a normal B would come to the middle, or we can take it and make the top part of the B a tiny one and the bottom one big, or we can make the top one really big and the bottom one little small, and it totally changes the letter. You can still tell those are all A's and those are all B's, but we've changed the way it looks. C is not going to change. There's nothing to change. D, there's nothing really to change. There's no, you can't make that up or down, right? But now our E, normally we would be told to like evenly space the bars, but we can also write it, top and bottom will stay the same, but we can take that top one way up here, or the middle one, or we can put it way down low. 3 E's, your eye will tell you those are all E's, but they look different. Same thing with the F. We can take that F way up there. Oh, well, normal F, right, would be here. Or we can take that F way down low. G, normal G. We can make it really tall, or we can make it really low. H is the same way. Middle of the road, normal H. Skinny tall H, or down low H. I, nothing to do, right? J, nothing to do. K, here's your normal K, right? You can take K and make it way up there and then this line be long, or make this line come all the way down and then your little line go down. L, not much to do. M, well, I believe we're going to need to go down here. M, normal M. Otherwise we can go keep it way up here, or we can come down like this, or the other way to do it is like this, right? But that tends to look a little bit more suspect. It looks more like an H. So I would usually, if I'm going to do an M, I would do the skinny tall one like this, or I would do this kind of thing right here. N, there's not much you can do. You can go across like that, but then if you try to do it the long way, it just ends up looking like a normal N. So you can do the tall one, but doing a low one looks like a normal one. If you went like this, again, to make it look low, it might, you know, your eye would probably read it, but I think it looks weird. So it's up to you, personal preference. O, nothing to do. P, normal P, tall P, low P, right? Q, not much to do. R, there is though. Here's our normal R, and here's a tall R, is the loop is small and the line is long, and then low R is the other direction. So the loop is tall and the little brace on the bottom is short. S, not much to do. You can slightly vary it, like if you want to make the line come and then make that part below, or if you want to make this, you can try. I usually end up just writing my S as normal because it usually feels dumb. Look at, see, I feel dumb about the way both of those look. I don't like either of them. Oh, shoot, I'm probably going, oh, I thought I had my other one underneath me. Okay, T, not much you can do. T is a T no matter what. U, not much you can do. V, W, you can make it come, again, you can make it come all the way up and down, but that just looks like two different ways to write a W, right? If you're gonna be doing the short one, it's easier. You can do like that, right? But the high one, again, if you went like this or something weird like that, it just looks weird. So I would say I stick with one of these three. W, X, X, there's not much you can do unless you want to, yeah, I don't know. You can't really, if you try to make it way too high, then you're end up with this wide base. So I usually just leave my X's alone. But I don't write many X's in normal writing anyway, right? Y, and we come with a tiny little Y up there, or we can come down like that. And then Z is kind of the same thing, right? The only way that sometimes I'll do Z different is I'll put the little crossbar thing in here, and that might make a difference in how you do it, right? So that can sometimes make the Z a little different, is where you put the little crossbar dealy majobber. Not sure what that thing is called. It's probably a serif, actually. So we've changed the center. So now, like, let's write a word. So let's write hello, normal, with our normal center bar. So that's what it would look like, you know, the way you're taught in school. Now let's write it with a real high center. Let's change the center to really high. So when you're doing this, what you want to kind of imagine is a line, and you want to keep all of the high parts to a line to keep it across the same way, because that's what's really going to make, this is a bad word to use because LLO we can't really do anything with. Let's write, well, let's write musings. Okay. So I'm going to do that with the high center. M-U-S-I. Oh, this is a bad one too. So there's musings with a high center. Now let's see what it looks like when I write it with a low center. Yeah, see, this is a bad word to be using. The hello with the low center. It still does change the look of it though, right? I mean, even though it's only the first two letters, it does change the look of it. So now if you were going to write the date, today, we want to say Friday, August, or Thursday, August, what is today? The 12th? So we'll put Friday, real high center. I tend to make these kind of skinnier letters too. I don't know why I do it. I think it helps with that look of, you know, the stretch, I think is maybe what it brings to mind. So Friday, and then I'll do August low. Friday, August, and doesn't really matter, right? The rest of it, because they're numbers. But when I am writing the letters, you can do the same thing with letters, right? By keeping them tall, like keeping any elements tall or low. But there we go. That's changing the center. So changing the center on things makes just an easy way to kind of make a cool looking font to set something off. Now we're going to talk quickly about different ways to add some interest. Swirls, curls, dots, skinny, wide, tails, color, and different materials. So I have some examples here of adding. These are just totally freeform, whimsical. They're different. Each time I write it, I write the letters slightly different. And I just look for anywhere where I'm going to start a line. I write, you know, a swirly thing. Sometimes, like with this R, I go, it'd be too much if I put another swirl here because it'll look just like this I. So I'll leave that alone, but I'll definitely curl in that part. But for the most part, when I'm writing swirls, I'm just writing, almost anytime I start a line, I start it with some sort of swirl. Curls are very similar, but you're usually, when I'm writing a word in cursive, I will start it with some big swoopy doopy doopy. That's a technical term. And then finish my letters. If they have things like this, I'll put extra curls in there, you know, like here on the top of the S. But then I end with a bunch of curly Qs too. And that's kind of a cool way to make just a single letter to start a paragraph. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if I was going to say today, I, you know, blah, 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 and then continue writing my journal, I would start my today. I'm going to make a fancy T, right? So, but I'm going to do curly, 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 swirly, swirly. And then I'll make my T. Right, so there's my big, and I'm going to thicken my big downstroke here. And I'm not going to worry about coloring it all the way in. I don't like the way that stopped. So the nice thing about curls is you can keep going. We just got big swirly curly, and then today, then I'm going to come in with my regular pen and keep going. Today, I am practicing lettering. So it's a cool way to kind of start out your journal, right? And this is just me, swoopy swoopy. I'm not in love with the way that turned out, but by the time you write a whole bunch in here, it'll look kind of cool. So that's my curls. You can make things really skinny. We kind of were just doing this in the changing the center thing. But if you write a bunch of words really skinny together, so you're doing close together, it just kind of makes it cool looking. And this is, again, me just writing in my regular printing, but by making them kind of tall and skinny, it just makes it look different. It makes it look kind of cool. You can do the same thing with real wide lettering, right? So maybe across the top of your page in your journal, well, this is bad because the Sharpie all soaks through, but if you wanted to write across the top of your page in your journal that today is Friday, you could go, why do I keep going to Friday even though it's only Thursday? I think I secretly want it to be Friday, huh? And then it's just kind of trying to keep it all the same width, which I'm going to run out of space here. Friday. That's another thing. See, there will be my Y. You have to plan your lettering in advance if you're going to do that across the top of a page. That's where I'll use my pencil. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So then I would normally go, here's the middle of my page. And then I know I need 3 letters on this side. And I need 3 letters on this side. And make myself some guides to stay within, right, if I want my even lettering, so that I don't do this and run off the page. So there's wide. If you're going to do wide. Dots, you would just add dots to the tops and bottoms of all of your lines, and it looks cute. This is really cute little look. And for O's, you can put them at the top and bottom or just at the top. But by the time you add some dots into the middle of everything or to the ends of all your lines, that's a cute little way to look. Make a font really quick. Adding tails, long tails on the beginning and end of a cursive word. So again, let me get out my paper here. Say this is the top of our journal, and because I want it to be Friday, apparently, I would come in and say Friday. So then we've got kind of just a cool little header, right? And then you could add over here, the date is 8/12/21, which it's not. That's wrong. Both of those are wrong. But that would be a kind of a cool way to just add, again, some interest. That's my normal handwriting. That's just the way I wrote it. But by adding these long tails here, or you could add a little curl to the end of each of the tails or 2, that's just a cool way. If you're writing a journal, you're writing, now you want to kind of stop and go to a different day or a different topic, you could do one of these and change what you want to say. You want to say, quote for the day. So you could come across and say, quote for the day, and then add those in. And just by making a long tail at the front and end, now you've got kind of a break and you've got some interest. So easy hack. Here, we kind of talked about this in previous videos when we're creating spaces by either thickening the downstroke or creating posts. You can add colors into them, and that adds, like here I've done a bunch of different colors. I'll go with one theme. You could just go with gray and it kind of adds a shadowy look. And then here I talk about just kind of other materials. So this is just a regular, you know, handwriting. This is regular handwriting. Here I've used, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. No. I've used a silver metallic marker to do the adding shadow thing that we learned, I think, last video. And then here I took, I'll show you again. So I'm going to say, I'll just go, okay, I'm going to write Gelatos. Do you know what gelatos are? They are, you can find them at most crafting stores. They're kind of cool for creating backgrounds and stuff. They are these, and they're like a waxy, kind of like a pastel almost or something, but they're waxy. So I'm going to go, I want to set off the word gelato, so I'm going to take my pink one, and then I'm going to scribble some yellow beneath it. You could do this with crayons. I mean, that kind of like, even just with crayons, that would make it look cool. But the gelatos, you can use your finger to kind of smudge them together. And I should have waited for my ink to dry because now it's smudging my ink too. But so now we've got kind of a cool background behind, right, my words. And then I took, I had a gold pen. So I took my gold pen and I kind of added in some dots around the front and end of it. Right? Really, you can do whatever you want to, but try out different materials. Get some watercolor and just add a little wash first and then do your lettering over that. That would set off your space that you're writing in. Or use your metallic markers just to write with, right? So maybe you're writing and you want to just say the date today is Friday. So you write that with your metallics. You can do it, you can do all kinds of things, but try different materials. Try the same hand lettering, but try using different things to do it with. Regular pens, metallic pens, regular school markers, you know, cheap school markers. But try different materials, try different things to use. All these pieces of things that I have over here, and just try writing with different things. And that a lot of times will add some interest and change the way things look as well. So we changed the center and we added some interest in some different ways. So your assignment today is to go practice these things. Go, you know, make some tails on things, color some things in, put some dots, try making swirly curlies, try doing that, and then try changing the height of your center on some printing and see how that goes for you. And have fun. If you're interested, if you haven't seen the first few videos in this series, you can always go, I have a playlist on my channel. You can go check those out as well. And thank you for joining. I hope that you enjoyed this and learned something, or, you know, got some inspiration or something out of it. Or at least filled 20 minutes of your day. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful morning or afternoon or evening, or possibly middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this globe of ours that you live on. And until I see you next time, guys, stay safe and take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye.